Xiaomi kept us waiting for a long time for a refresh of the Mi line. Though the Mi 4 landed in India just last year, it's been around for almost two. So, is this Mi 5 worth the wait? Well, let's find out in this video. But before we do, if this is your first time here, or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, this is C4eTech, and you're watching my full review of the Xiaomi Mi 5. Let's get started. As always, let's start with the design. We have Gorilla Glass 4 to the front and back and metal all around. If this build seems eerily familiar to you, that's because the S7 and the Note 5 look quite similar. But Xiaomi is not actually basing this build on either device, but rather refining their own build from the Mi Note, a phone that predated both the Samsung devices. The metal to the side now curves and really helps with ergonomics. The fact that the Mi 5 sports a 5.15-inch display means single-handed usage is definitely a possibility for most. Another pro from the ergonomic standpoint is the weight. At 129 grams, one of the first things you notice when you pick this phone up is how light it is. The 7.3mm thickness helps too. Other highlights include an IR blaster up top, support for dual SIMs by default, sadly no microSD, and I really appreciate Xiaomi using the understated dots for capacitive keys rather than the menu markings that they've continued to use long after switching to recent apps. Now, if only Xiaomi let us swap the recent apps and back keys, it would be great. Knowing Xiaomi's fondness for customization, there's a good chance we might actually see this happen. It's also worth mentioning that the physical home key has a fingerprint scanner built in and it works great, quite quick and accurate. However, it's not always on, so you need to press the actual home key before it can scan your fingerprint. That said, it's fast enough that most times you're in the home screen almost immediately after you press the home key. This also happens to double as a capacitive key, so if you want to go all capacitive once you've turned that display on, you sure can. Personally, I'm a little sad to see the replaceable back covers go. I love that aspect of the Mi 4. The 3D Gorilla Glass 4 does look nice and like I mentioned helps with ergonomics, and for some reason it doesn't pick up quite as many smudges as on the Galaxy S7. Overall, I'd say Xiaomi's done a great job with the build here. Okay, talking about the build, there's another thing worth mentioning here. Xiaomi in India is now offering Mi Protect for 699 rupees. For this price, you get coverage for accidental damage. So drop it in water, break the display, throw it off a building, and Xiaomi will have you covered. Xiaomi will also be providing pickup and drop service along with a replacement phone for when your phone's being fixed. Seems like a very nice initiative from Xiaomi. Let's hope that they actually follow through on it and the implementation is good. So anyway, coming back, one of the reasons why the Mi 5 looks as good as it does is because of those very thin bezels. Well, in reality, like every other manufacturer out there, Xiaomi does cheat a bit because there are black lines surrounding the display that create an illusion of the bezels being much thinner than they actually are. But that said, the display itself is excellent. Yes, the resolution is still 1080p, but 428 pixels per inch is still pretty dense in my honest opinion. I don't see any pixelation unless I really go looking for it. The contrast is very good and the color reproduction spot on. The viewing angles are excellent as well. The Mi 5's display uses more LEDs for backlighting, 16 compared to the usual 12, resulting in brightness levels in excess of 600 nits. That, coupled with the low reflectivity, means this display is very legible outdoors. So the Mi 5 looks great, packs a very decent display, but that's all for naught if it does not have the hardware to back it up. And this guy packs some serious power underneath. Now there are three variants of the Mi 5, ones with 32, 64 and 128 gigs of onboard storage. All three variants are powered with the Snapdragon 820 chip, and Snapdragon 820 has two sets of dual custom cryo cores. This is the base 32 gig variant you're seeing in this video, and this one has its cores clocked at 1.8 and 1.6 GHz each. Then there's also 3 gigs of RAM and a 3000 mAh non-user replaceable battery. Both of the other variants have their cores clocked at 2.15 and 1.6 GHz instead, with the top 128 gig variant called the Mi 5 Pro having 4 gigs of RAM and a ceramic back. I should be getting my hands on that soon, and let me know if you'd like to see me come back to the Mi 5 and shoot a dedicated review video for the Mi 5 Pro. Anyway, despite the lower clock cores, this Mi 5 performed well. With intensive tasks like gaming, it held its own, didn't break a sweat no matter what game we threw at it. While it did get a little warm with intensive usage, like after continuous gaming or shooting 4K video, it never got hot and did not even break the 42-degree mark. That's just very good. The audio via the downwards facing speakers quite loud and rich. The quality via the earphones was amazing, very clean and excellent levels. Cellular reception was top notch and the call quality was above average as well. So with that, we now get to battery life. The Mi 5, like I said, sports a 3000 mAh non-user replaceable battery, and the battery life here is good. It got me through each of the 7 days I used it as my primary device with about 20 to 30% juice left. My regular day involves a couple of hours of calls, some light gaming, Crossy Road mostly, an hour or so of streaming video, a couple of hours of music via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and 3G on all day, push notifications for social media, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, some WhatsApp, some mails, and all this without tinkering around with Xiaomi's battery profiles. If you use them, you're going to be able to get more out of this battery. So now let's move on to the cameras. To the back, the Mi 5 is one of the first devices to be using Sony's IMX298 sensor. 16 megapixels and a lens with an f/2.0 aperture, face detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization. Xiaomi is actually using 4-axis OIS for better stabilization. This camera performed great. There's plenty of detail in the images, the colors are natural, the dynamic range is excellent, the performance holds up even under artificial lighting. In fact, I shot a dedicated camera review and I'll leave a card to it along with a link in the description below. Do check that out for a more in-depth look into the camera of the Mi 5. The front-facing 4-megapixel camera uses larger than regular pixels, similar to HTC's ultra-pixel cameras, and captures great images even in situations with less than optimal lighting. 4K video recording was great, the 4-axis stabilization seemed to help a lot. The camera did hunt for focus a little, but that's more a me nitpicking. But what isn't is the fact that Xiaomi hasn't included support for 1080p 60fps video. I really wish Xiaomi would add that in the future. The user interface is nothing new, it's pretty feature packed, includes a solid manual mode. We've seen all this before, the shutter response is fast and this camera is quite quick to focus. Talking about software, the Mi 5 runs on Android 6 Marshmallow with Xiaomi's MIUI 7 on top. This is MIUI, so no app drawer, a lot of customization, both cosmetic thanks to the theme store and the endless array of themes that it brings with it, and deeper customization options with the ability to dig deep and control everything about what you have on your phone. The first-party Xiaomi apps work great, and the features MIUI brings to the table are usually more useful than gimmicky. The user experience here is quite good. That said, MIUI does have a few memory management issues that came to light when we pitted against the S7 in a speed test. The memory management does need some work, but like I said, the user experience still remains good despite it. The Mi 5 is priced at about $310 in China and 25,000 rupees here in India. Me personally, I expected it to be priced at around the 22k mark, and maybe the mid variant, the one with 64 gigs of storage, I expected it to come in at around 26, 27. But even just the 32 gig variant at 25, Xiaomi doesn't really have much competition here in India. So if you're somebody looking to buy this phone at 25k or somebody watching elsewhere who wants to import it, I'd say if you can, do it. Because the Mi 5 brings about 80% of what the S7 does at about 50% the price. So again, if you want to get one, if you're looking at this video, trying to make your mind up on if you should get yourself a Mi 5, do it. If you do decide to pick one up, I'll leave direct purchase links in the description for both my Indian and international viewers. MerryMobiles.com is my portal of choice when I want to import phones, so do check them out. And I guess that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, hope you found it useful. If you did, do give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't, vote it down. And for more videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. So, thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this is Ash here from C4E Tech, signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye now.